What is Pokemon Auto Chess? Pokemon Auto Chess is a team fight tactics game where you purchase your Pokemon to build your team from a randomized selection. Give them items to make them stronger. Beat rival teams and defeat wild Pokemon to get more coins, which will then be used towards buying new Pokemon or leveling up. Leveling up increases your maximum capacity. You'll find yourself buying copies to also evolve them. You'll need 3 copies of the Pokemon for it to evolve to the next stage. So you'll need 3 Larvitars to make a Pupitar, and the same with a Pupitar, you're going to need 3 Pupitars to evolve them into a Tyranitar. Unlike the canonical games, Pokemon Auto Chess doesn't use your standard type matchups, so Water type isn't going to be super effective against Fire type. Instead, it uses a system called synergies. Depending on how many Pokemon of the same type that you have on your team, you'll get a different tier of buffs for that type. Now let's look at one of my favorite types in the game, the Monster type. So Monster type Pokemon can flinch their opponents, and every time they get a KO, they gain stats, they heal, and they grow in size. So as soon as you have 2 monster types on the same team, you get the Pursuit tier, which is a 30% chance to flinch, and then when you knock down a Pokemon, so when you KO, you gain 3 attack, 10% ability power, and 30 max HP. It is important to note that these buffs will only apply to Pokemon of the monster type. If you have dual synergies on your team, for example, you have a Pokemon that is not a monster type but another type, they will not gain this synergy, and they will not gain the buffs on KO. So now you just dropped into your first game and you're wondering to yourself, what exactly do I do now? Well, let's go over it with you and let's break it down. The first thing you'll want to look at is which Pokemon did the game start me with. Here, you'll see that I have 2 Geodudes. Now I only need 3 Geodudes in order to get my first evolution, Graveler. So it would be a good idea for me to get these. If you don't like your starting choices, you can also click the refresh button. Just like you can click on the subscribe button down below. It's free and it really helps out the channel. Plus, you can always change your mind at a later time. It does cost 1 coin to reroll the entire row, but if you're playing a specific type or you're going for something specific, it can be used to your advantage. But keep in mind as well that you can buy EXP with gold, and this is much more valuable in the long run because it increases the size of your team. So if you're spending all of your money re-rolling, but then you don't have a good team size, you're just going to get rolled by other players who have a bigger team than you. The game is pretty generous and starts you off with 6 coins, where all of the starters are mostly 1 coin. So you can pick up a few Pokemon at the start and also reroll once or twice. You'll also notice next to the coins that you have 100 HP. So this is your life, and every time that you lose a battle, you get some HP taken away. When your HP gets to 0, you lose. You're out of the game. Now I'm going to take your focus to the top toolbar. You'll see it says Stage 1, and then there's a picture of a Magikarp. This is a roadmap for the stages and what is to come. The yellow bar at the bottom is a timer. When that timer runs out, you're going to get transported to that stage. The roadmap will always be static and be the same for every match. So no matter what match you're going into or you're starting a new room, this roadmap and the stages will always be in the same order. The icons that have Pokemon on them are wild Pokemon, and those will give you items and 1 coin as a reward for clearing them, as well as a little bit of experience. So each game will start with 3 wild encounters, where you will get a bit of money, you will get items, and then the next icon after that is an item roulette. So you're going to be placed in the same room with all of the other players. There will be items going around in a circle. Since this is the first roulette, everyone has the same amount of HP left, so all of our turns are taken at the same time, and you just have to make contact with the circle to pick the item. After the roulette, you'll be greeted with your first trainer fight, which is going to be a random player from the lobby, which you'll be facing off against their team. Now, when the battle is happening, you have absolutely no control over your units, so you want to make sure that you have a good formation. So let's go over really quickly what a basic formation would look like. Here you'll notice that you have 3 rows. So the front row, the middle row, and the back row. Each Pokemon have a set range that they can hit a certain number of tiles away. So Pokemon with a 1 range would typically go in the front row. Not all Pokemon that have a 1 range have good defense. Typically, Pokemon in the front row will be the first to take the aggro, so you're going to want your tanks to be up front. So if we take a look at Aeron here, it has 2 defense and 2 special defense. On the other hand, this Caterpie only has 1 defense and 1 special defense, as well as a range of 2. So this Caterpie would most likely go on the second row behind the tanks, so it doesn't initially take the aggro, and then it can deal damage. Each Pokemon also has a set ability. This is your Pokemon's move. This is what it's going to be using its mana or PP towards, and it's also the move that it's going to be providing to your team. So this Caterpie is able to paralyze other Pokemon. Now you'll notice that there are 3 tiers, so you deal 10, 20, or 50 special damage to the target and make them paralyzed for 5 seconds. The amount of damage is proportionate to the stage of your evolution. So Caterpie will only deal 10 damage, Metapod will deal 20 damage, and Butterfree will deal 50 damage. Continuing to use Aeron as an example, I'm going to go over all of the stats from left to right. So first we have your HP, your defense, your attack speed, and your crit damage. Now on the below you have MP, special defense, special attack, your range, and as well as your crit chance. You'll notice that Aeron's special attack is currently 0, but when it uses its ability, it slams the ground, dealing 10 special damage. So the 0 is actually the base bonus to your special attack. Its ability, without any bonuses, it would deal 10. If you picked up an item that gave him additional special attack, it would be a bonus on top of what it does now. So that covers the basic mechanics of Pokemon Auto Chess. Now let's go over a few of the unique stages that you'll be facing along the way. Starting with the additional pick. Your first additional pick will be on stage 5. You'll be given the choice of 3 Pokemon. In addition to the Pokemon, you'll also receive the item shown on screen. These cannot be re-rolled, so if you don't like any of the Pokemon choices that are offered to you, you can always opt to just take the item and sell the Pokemon once it appears on your bench. Fast forward to floor 10, where you'll get your first additional pick carousel. The types inside the circle are indicated on what type of Pokemon you're likely to get. The turn order is decided by the remaining HP, so the people with lower HP will be able to move first. The yellow circle around your player represents a bind, so the higher HP you have, the slower that bind will be removed. The players with the lowest HP will have their binds removed first. Make contact with the circle that you'd like to choose. Once everybody's made their decision, you'll press on to the additional pick. These additional picks are special as every Pokemon is a unique Pokemon, meaning that it will not appear in the random selection on normal stages. On floor 20, you'll get another roulette, except this time, this is going to be a guaranteed legendary Pokemon. When you get this far in, your pick can make or break the run, as every other team will also have a legendary Pokemon. And unfortunately, if you get stuck with a pick that doesn't complement your team, this could mean the end of your run. So we're getting really close to wrapping up this beginner's guide. There's only 2 more things that I really want to talk about. 1 is the items that you're going to get, and 2 is how you're going to change your avatar and how you're going to look cool in the game. So once you get an item, you can just drag and drop it onto the Pokemon that you wish to equip it on. Now, most items that you're going to get are going to be tier 1 items, meaning that it can be combined with another item to make a tier 2 item, which will be a bit stronger. Simply drag and drop to combine the item. You're going to want to equip your Pokemon with items that benefit their set. So for example, the tank will benefit from a defensive item, while an attacker will benefit from attack speed or attack. It's important to note that if you grab an item and put it on a Pokemon and it can combine, it will combine with the item that's already equipped before filling up the next slot. And that brings us to our final topic of the video, how to change our avatars and how to actually look good in the game. Once your HP reaches 0 and you get your ranking, you're going to get experience based on how well you performed, and as well as an elo increase or decrease. You'll also have access to see what teams the other players were using. Once you go back to the main menu on the side, you can click Profile. Here, you can see that I have 750 out of 1000 experience needed for my next level up. Once you level up, you'll receive a booster pack to open, which can be accessed from the boosters menu on the side. Open your booster packs to gain random shards for avatars. It's important to note that you can apply these shards towards any avatar for the specific Pokemon. So if you wanted to save these to afford a shiny avatar later, you can certainly do so. Once you're done opening your booster pack, head on over to the collections menu. Here you'll be able to filter through all of the available avatars, and you can also indicate to filter through shiny avatars by clicking the shiny hunter checkmark. From here you can simply choose which one you'd like to unlock. Simply click on the avatar. Once you've made your choice, click on the avatar again and it will go blue once you've unlocked it. And then you can choose as player avatar on the bottom left. Your profile will be updated with your selection, and this will also directly affect the Pokemon that you'll be represented as when you're playing the game. And that wraps up our Pokemon Auto Chess Beginner's Guide. If you have any questions on things I haven't covered, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.